What is happening, wonderful people? So last night I got a chance to go see Sin Help. And in this film, a woman and her overbearing boss become stranded on a deserted island after a plane crash. They must overcome past grievances and work together to survive. But ultimately, it's a battle of wills and wits to make it out alive. And that's all I can say without giving too much away. Let's talk about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So Sin Help. When it comes to Sin Help, I am a casual Sam Raimi fan. I absolutely love the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. And when it comes to like Multiverse of Madness, I was really hyped for Multiverse of Madness. And I walked out a couple years ago just thinking it was good. I was kind of disappointed with it. There are some good things about it, but there's also some things that I just wouldn't have put in there if I was the director, you know? And when it comes to the few of the Evil Dead films, right? I'm okay with the original. Evil Dead 2, I actually kind of had some fun with, you know? And Army of Darkness, I think, is abysmal. It's one of the worst movies ever made, in my opinion. But I am a casual Sam Raimi fan. So when this movie was announced, when I first heard about this movie, I was like, oh, this is an interesting movie, like a concept for a movie. And people were kind of comparing it to Misery and Castaway, and I was like, oh, so that's kind of an interesting like combination right there. And I absolutely love Dylan O'Brien, and I absolutely love Rachel McAdams, and I'm like, that's a really unusual pair, but I think that might be a fun pair as well. And I saw the trailers. The trailers didn't really do anything for me, but I was like, you know what? This could be a big hit, and I absolutely love how everyone is loving it right now. And after having seen the film, I walked out liking it and having some fun with it, but I didn't love it as much as everyone else. So if you're new to my channel, or if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I like to talk about my positives first, then my negatives next. But even when I need to be negative, I will be positive. And even when I need to be positive, I will be negative as well. And overall, I had fun with this movie. Again, like I said, I didn't love it like everyone else, but I still had a good enough time with it. I had enough fun with it, you know? And I'll kind of touch on it a little bit more in the negative section when we get there. But I feel like it is kind of a one-time watch for me. Maybe it'll grow on me in the future. I hope it does, you know, because like I said, there are some really good things about it, but also at the same time, there are some things that I'm just not the biggest fan of, some gripes, a few nitpicks here and there. But with this film, I really like the fish out of water story in here. And what I mean by fish out of water, it's really interesting because you just have these two people who are polar opposites and they don't get along at all. You have one who's a total freaking you-know-what and jerk in Dylan O'Brien, and you have Rachel McAdams who plays Linda Little, and, you know, she plays Linda Little really great. She's really awkward and weird and just overall mysterious, and like I said, Dylan O'Brien is just an absolute jerk. You don't like his character at all. You have no remorse or sympathy for what his character goes through in the movie. And the fish out of water, like, concept or, like, aspect of this movie is really fun to watch because you have these two characters who have never been stranded on an island before, and it's just kind of fun to watch their banter back and forth and their arguments here and there and just see what they do and like how they grasp being lost on an island with almost no help. And you know, you really have to see it with the crowd because it's arguably Sam Raimi's funniest film. Like it's been a while since I've been to a movie in a theater where almost a whole crowd was cackling. Like, my theater wasn't packed, but there was a good amount of people, and people were laughing. Like, legit laughing. I was too, and it's unironically funny, but also at the same time, it's funny in an awkward sense because of how awkward Linda Little, Rachel McAdams, is, and it's just mainly towards the beginning when she's in the office with Dylan O'Brien and all the other workers. So awkward, so awkward. It is a small-scale survival thriller that'll really keep you on the edge of your seat and on your toes as well. And, you know, there's a great and unexpected twist at the end. There really is. And when the twist happens, you're like, oh, I didn't expect that at all. And the twist worked. It really worked. And the ending is bonkers. And when you see the ending, you'll be like, did that just happen? I think that just happened. That's crazy. That's wild. And you know how Sam Raimi is with his practical effects. I know in an interview he talked about how he actually like poured blood on the actors and all that. And you know how he loves his practical effects. And there are a lot of practical effects in here, and they were top notch. They absolutely were. And I really like how Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien both play the hero and the villain at the same time, especially with them being in this harsh environment. They do anything to survive. They do anything to eat. They do anything to just get a drink of water, you know? And I think Sam Raimi goes absolutely crazy and psycho in here. And while I didn't fully love it like everyone else, and while it is just a one-time watch for me, I still had enough fun with it, you know? And it'll have you laughing uncontrollably. And the OG Sam Raimi fans will fiend at the Evil Dead references and vibes. There are a lot of Evil Dead vibes in here and references that I really liked. I was like, oh, that's straight out of Evil Dead. I like that. I really like that. And, you know, Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams are both phenomenal in here. They both knock it out of the freaking park. But Rachel McAdams is the best actor in here. While they're both great, she really knocked it out of the park. She really, really did. And she's so mysterious and weird. And Dylan O'Brien's a jerk. He's a total, you know what, you don't like him at all. You don't feel, like I said earlier, you don't feel any remorse or sympathy for his character and what he goes through. And Danny Elfman did the score in here. He knocked it out of the park. Really good score. And Sam Raimi directing it, along with just the camera angles and just how it's directed beautifully. And you know the typical camera angles and the way his directing style, he's a very unique and nuanced director, Sam Raimi. It worked in here. I thought it worked in here. And, you know, Sam Raimi's use of bugs and food in here, the close-up shots of food is disgusting and wince-inducing in here. And there is one scene with the bug that's disgusting, and you'll be like, oh, I don't want to see that. It's just, you really have to see it with the crowd. But now talking about my negatives, while I did really enjoy it overall, I do have a few nitpicks. I do have a few things that just kind of turned me off. Things that I was like, I wouldn't have done that if I were the director. I would have changed that if I were the director. And, you know, at times, especially when they're in the plane before it crashes, you'll see in the movie, and you saw it in the trailer, it does look very CGI. Very CGI. You can definitely notice it, and it might take a few people out. It didn't really take me out, but it didn't take me out of the movie, but I definitely noticed it, and it did feel jarring at times. And even when they're on land and they're walking up this like mountain, and you'll see it in the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about, you can tell it is kind of green screeny in a way. So I really wish they would have upped that a little bit. They would have made that a lot better. And, you know, the concept is a concept that's really fun. It's a mix of Castaway and Misery, and you have two phenomenal actors in Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams. And it's just a very simple plot. It's simple. It's a simple but sweet plot. It is. And they're on a plane. They crash on an island. They have to survive. They have differences. They're polar opposites, right? And, you know, with the concept being the concept that's really fun, which this concept is fun, you know, but you kind of know where the story's going. You do. And even though this one is kind of doing something unique in a way, in a sense, right? It's predictable at times. It is definitely predictable at times. And for the concept as well, there's a lot of cool, crazy stuff that happens, but I think the story would have benefited better. I think it would have been stronger if we saw our characters trying to accomplish getting off the island. Because in this movie, obviously they want to get off the island, you know that. But in the movie, throughout the entirety of the movie, you see them on the island just trying to survive, just trying to make it for a day or a few days, right? You don't really see them trying to get off the island, maybe except Dylan O'Brien at times, because there is a scene where he kind of, you know, gets on a raft and tries to escape. So in a way, they both do want to get off. But Rachel McAdams, in a way, is kind of the polar opposite. I kind of can't talk about that because I don't want to give anything away. But, you know, I think it would have benefited better. I think the story would have been stronger if they tried to actually get off the island. Like if we saw them try to get off the island. And maybe at times it is a little bit too long. And I did feel like something was missing overall. So yeah, overall, with Sin Help, I didn't have any big expectations for this movie. But as a casual Sam Raimi fan, as a fan of his Spider-Man trilogy, and as someone who likes Multiverse of Madness and Evil Dead 2, I was kind of in a way looking forward to this, and I walked out having some fun with it, and it will be one of my biggest surprises of the year. So with Sin Help, I will give this movie a 3 out of 5 stars, and with Sin Help as well. I will say dedicate your time. If you're an OG Sam Raimi fan, if you're a new Sam Raimi fan, if you love a lot of his films or just a few of his films, I think you might enjoy this one. So that'll wrap up this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, share on this video. We just hit 1K subs a while back. We're now at 1.2K, and the next big milestone is 2K and 3K after that. Beyond that as well. If you're new as well, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, trailer reactions, movie live streams, movie news, movie rankings, all that wonderful movie stuff under the movie umbrella. And let's talk about it in the comments down below. Did y'all like Sin Help? Did y'all not like Sin Help? Is it y'all's favorite Sam Raimi film? Is it y'all's least favorite Sam Raimi film? Let's talk about it down below. Keep talking movies, wonderful people. Cheers.